Good afternoon. This is Crap Grandma Says. Story time today. I had a conversation with my grandson today about Ray Bradbury, his stories, The Veldt, Fahrenheit 451, and others. I'm really glad he enjoys Bradbury because those kinds of stories, along with the ones from The Twilight Zone and similar thought-provoking tales, were my favorites when I was his age. They planted seeds in my mind about the state of the world, about questioning, imagining, and thinking for myself. And proudly, I'm the one who introduced him to both Bradbury and The Twilight Zone. When I was his age, authors like Bradbury cost me my relationship with my mother. She was a fundamentalist Christian, and anything that planted ideas outside her strict beliefs was unacceptable to her. I didn't fit into her worldview, and she rejected me for it. And when you're a kid, the person you want most to fit in with and be accepted by is your mother, especially when you don't yet recognize the abusiveness of a parent tying their love and care to whether you believe exactly as they do. I didn't understand it then, but looking back, it was religious abuse. Ironically, that kind of control is often the quickest way to ensure your child never believes like you do. That lack of acceptance between my mother and me is still true today. She continues to reject me because I don't share her beliefs about religion. In her mind, that justifies cutting me off, even though we believe the same things about God. She did the same thing to her own siblings. When they didn't follow her particular religious beliefs and interpretations, she cut ties. And it cost us kids relationships with our cousins, and even created rifts between my stepfather and his family for the same kinds of things. Her rejection and my constant need as a kid to seek acceptance under her religious terms led me to doubt my own ability to make decisions about faith and life. It stifled the seeds planted by others through stories, experiences, and thinkers like Ray Bradbury and Rod Serling, who spoke to the deeper truths beneath the surface of life. My mother's beliefs also robbed me of the ability to call out the harmful side of fundamentalist Christianity, even when our own family experienced that harm firsthand. Those stories were discarded, ignored, denied, and buried. I can tell you about them sometime if you'd like. Perhaps the greatest harm was how she took away my free will to choose God, something I believe God intended us to have. It took me years to reclaim that freedom, to trust myself again, and to go back and nurture those long-buried seeds of independent thought. For a long time, I chased her acceptance. I followed the fundamentalist path she laid out: regular church attendance, marrying a Christian man, having children, putting my own needs last, and voting red, because that's what we were taught. It wasn't until my kids were nearly grown that I finally woke up. The turning point came when our church started passing out political propaganda during services. That, too, was religious abuse. And I think that same religious abuse is what we're witnessing today from organizations like the Heritage Foundation and their Project 2025. It's the imposition of fundamentalist religious beliefs through the mechanisms of secular government. It's about control, enforced conformity, and the withholding of acceptance, the very thing all human beings crave and deserve, if you don't fall in line. And it's wrong. We shouldn't be forcing anyone to adopt our religious beliefs to be accepted, valued, or loved, not as individuals, and certainly not as a government. And yet here we are. So there's that.